Hello, and welcome to the 2017 National College Church Thursday Night 20s Ministry Multiplication Convention Draft presented by Snickers.
We should have a plentiful harvest for you this year, and there should be a lot of spiritual gifts ready for the drafting. But before we get into that, let's look at the prospects.
Right you are, Joe. Now, let's start with one of the veterans out there who we're expecting to go very high in the draft, and I think you know who I'm talking about, Josh Green.
A highly touted prospect to be sure. There were some questions of faithfulness early in the teenage years, but when we look at 2017 and his participation out of the Thursday night group, is he going to the prayer group Sunday mornings? Is he occasionally double servicing? And at this point, I think his devotion times speak for themselves.
Absolutely. And GMs have been paying a lot more attention to quiet time than in previous years. In fact, we've heard from the Man Shot, Nussbaum front office that they're looking for someone with those statistics. Now, one person that I think can fit those qualifications, Rachel Roberts. I mean, here's a dynamic studier. She gets it done both in application and interpretation every single time.
And I've caught wind, Riz, that some scouts are labeling her as a 5-tool prayer. We've talked in tongues, prophecy, intercession. There are many more, I'm sure, at least 2. But moving past the individuals, Rizzo, what are some of the things that GMs should be wary of when entering this draft?
And great question, Joe. So I talked to some of the scouts. Looks like long-windedness could be a big issue that's concerning GMs. I mean, coaches like a great observation, but not when it takes away from the overall study as a whole. Now, it all depends on how they did in the pre-draft workouts.
And many of those players were taking those pre-draft workouts this summer, working on their conciseness in the off-season. Let's see if it pays off. Riz, we know the GMs now, Mike and Ann Thrasher, Cole Manshot, Katie Nussbaum, but what we don't know are their squads. What do you think they're looking for as they try to form these squads, Riz?
So obviously both squads want to balance between fun and serious. Picking a studier is harder than looking at just hermeneutics and interpretive abilities. I mean, you have to think about the intangibles. Who's going to be able to ask that big question that gets people to open up and expose their hearts within the group? Vulnerability could be another key draft issue.
I couldn't agree more, Riz, and experts have been saying that vulnerability is the most underrated attribute with this year's draft class. However, also one of the more challenging things to demonstrate pre-draft. Now, if we want the expert to talk about this, we have to go straight to the commissioner, Adam Calloway, and he's joined us right now. Adam, welcome to the panel tonight. We're glad you can make it. Let's get right down to it. What does it mean to you to be presiding over the 2017 draft, and what does it mean to the 20s ministry as a whole to be multiplying at this point in time?
Well, Joe, let me tell you, I take one good look at this year's draft class and I think, wow. Got some genuine disciples in this one, and any number of them could go right at the top. And I think it goes without saying, I feel honored to be here, to know that in just a little while I'll see the faces of kids who have been Christians their whole lives, and they'll finally get their shot. It's something special.
Now, Adam, there were questions surrounding possibly upsetting the current Bible study season format by going forward with the draft. What can you tell us has been the reaction so far?
Well, Pete, anytime you institute changes, people are going to react. But it's been going over pretty positively. This church hasn't been this excited about anything since we finished studying the book of Romans.
Well, Commissioner, we know you have a busy night out there, so we're going to let you go. When we come back, more breakdowns of tonight's hopefuls, and we're going to look at a few tweets. Now remember, if you'd like to be featured on our show, use hashtag 20s Draft Night.
The 2017 draft is just moments away.
Snickers. Oh, hello there. I've just been spending some time catching up in the Word. My name is Dan McBride, and I'm here to tell you about a revolutionary new product. It's called Fishers of Women.
It's all about the draft.
Snickers.
Welcome back to the 2017 20s Draft Night hosted by Snickers. Let's go, as previously promised, to some of the tweets.
So, at the real Josh Moody writes, long time listener, first time tweet. Was looking at pre-draft rankings, and I'm wondering, no Phil Oster? Hashtag, where Oster at? Hashtag 20s Draft Night.
So there has been a lot of speculation about Phil Oster. Rumors circulating, has he been around since Men's Conference 2017? Now, Rizzo, there may be some truth to these rumors.
Right you are, Joe. So, purely speculating here, But Phil told me that he was unhappy with a number of changes at the top, not enough time in application, and the constant switching of venues each week. I have it on good authority that he decided to enter the Spring Valley Presbyterian Church draft, which came as a shock even to his family.
Whoa, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but it appears now the Thrashers are now officially on the clock. And if Michael puts as much time as he does into his weekly Bible study, we shouldn't have to wait long to hear what he dressed.
So Joe, I can see our producer Ben Panners just stood up with the film crew. That means they made their selection.
With the first overall pick in the 2017 National College Church Thursday Night 20s Ministry Multiplication Convention Draft hosted by Snickers, the Thrashers select Adam Billingham from USC.
And let me tell you, this is an excellent draft pick up top. He's going to get you a ton of cross references. He's well versed in both the ESV and NIV, and I was talking to one GM who said he's not sure if there's anyone else in the league who has a better sword drill time than he does.
And not only that, but Joe, I hear he makes some of the meanest brownies in all of DuPage County. You can't lose there.
You cannot. Oh, we are getting word now that the second overall pick has been placed by the Manshot Nussbaum Group, and it is none other than, from the University of Wheaton College, Lauren Graham.
And Joe, I had a feeling that Lauren would go very high. I just couldn't see someone with a fish tattoo dropping lower than third or fourth in the order. She also has the home field advantage here. Let's remember, huge bonus to get someone who has prayed plenty of times at Prez House and a lifetime member of College Church.
Out of group service opportunities and group volleyball events planned, a huge plus here with the Graham pick. No surprise at all to me that she goes in the top 5. Now, turning to a video interview with first overall pick, Adam Billingham. Adam, are you there?
Yeah, Joe, thanks for having me.
Well, Adam, you are the number 1 overall pick. What went through your head when you heard your name called?
You know, Joe, to be honest, I had been meditating on scripture all day, just telling myself no matter who drafts me, I'll be ready.
So Adam, let me ask you, with all the competition, all the big names out there, were you surprised that you went first?
Yeah, Riz, I mean, you take a look at the disciples in this draft, and I'm humbled by the honor and just looking to make the most of it.
And so, not ironically, your humility was a big topic, something that came up again and again when we talked to the scouts and some former coaches at USC.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I learned from some of the meekest, and I'm just glad that all that time in my prayer closet has finally paid off.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us. We're returning now to the draft floor where we've just received word that the third pick has been chosen. It's none other than David Kelly.
And now, obviously, Joe, the Greek played a huge part in this pick. There were some concerns about the no-compete clause and whether or not he would be able to spin off, do his own thing on Tuesday nights. But when it comes to the original text being translated, nobody is better.
And let's not forget here, Rizzo, DK is a huge team prayer. He's one of those guys that when he comes up to you and says, I've been praying for you, you can tell that he means it, and that is huge for group morale. And now, finally, our final pick of the night, I've been told, Richard and Shelby.
And now, to me, this is a great pick, a no-brainer, 2 for 1. You need someone who can fill the hole that's left by Jordan and Jess Singer. Now, let me tell you, they can answer any questions about dating, relationships, also very biblically grounded. Attendance was at one time a concern with Richard, maybe why you get the 2 for 1 deal, but still no surprise that they end up at number 4.
None at all. I completely agree with you. That'll wrap it up for us tonight here, folks. If you'd like to see the rest of the draft results, we'll be here tomorrow at 7, 6 Central.
For myself, Joe McKenna, and our entire crew, good night and thanks for watching.
And don't forget, Snickers satisfies, but Christ fulfills.
Snickers.
And don't forget, Snickers satisfies, but Christ
Jesus fulfills. It's the same person, though, to be honest.